Michigan to make or not make the playoff is one that you're looking for. The defending national champion Michigan Wolverines.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Jimmy, first of all, the defending national champion Michigan Wolverines are certainly a team in transition, to put it mildly. They lose their quirky head coach, Jim Harbaugh, to the NFL. They've got a record, I think, 13 players selected in the NFL draft. That includes J.J. McCarthy, their quarterback, who was the 10th overall selection in the draft this past April. They don't have a proven commodity at quarterback. They have as many as 5 candidates apparently competing for that job. And now on top of that, we're getting news that the NCAA is investigating the Michigan Wolverines, and first-time head coach Sharon Moore. As part of that investigation, there could be some action taken. There could be some suspensions, those types of things. So things could really get off the rails, I think, here at Michigan. They've got several games that kind of, when you're looking at them making the playoffs, I think if they lose 3 games, I don't think Michigan's going to be in. I think the Big Ten's getting 3 teams in the playoff. I think 2 of those probably going to be Ohio State and Oregon. But you look at this Michigan team, they've got home games against Texas and Oregon. Then they've got the road trip at Ohio State at the end of the regular season. I don't think they're winning any of those games, Jimmy. So I don't think this Michigan team, I think it could get really nasty there in Ann Arbor. I like Michigan not to make the playoffs at -139 there at Bet Rivers.
A great program. There's no doubt about it. Now they even throw in an angle about the championship hangover. It's real. These kids have been treated. I mean, it's the banquet tour. It's the BMOC. I mean, everybody's telling them how good they are. It's just that lack of hunger. Even Nick Saban, after he won his first national championship at LSU in 2003, after 2004, he said, it's real. It's another rat poison, if you will. So speaking of the Crimson Tide, the former Crimson Tide coach, now media member. Don't forget your credential when you go to media days, coach. But the one of the cool things about the Bet Rivers college football menu on the futures is the team specials and the most regular season wins. Right at the top is Alabama versus Michigan, sort of a rematch of the semifinal game, the overtime game last year. So, Paul, you think that Alabama, even with their considerable, transition, I mean, life after Saban, here we go, and DeBoer lost a lot on his roster, then he recaptured a lot and added to his roster. So it's a lot of new faces. Alabama, you like them to have more wins than Michigan at -118.
Yeah, I mean, Alabama, first of all, they play a more difficult schedule. Now, I did mention Michigan's in the previous breakdown, their tough games against Texas, Oregon, and Ohio State. But Alabama has 5 games that are probably going to feature a single-digit point spread, those being games at Wisconsin, home game against Georgia, at Tennessee, at LSU, and at Oklahoma. So they do play the more difficult schedule. But again, I'm just really concerned about this Michigan team. And you mentioned an extra component of it, the fact that they perhaps have a little bit of that national championship hangover. It's hard to be as hungry when you've reached the mountaintop, especially in that next season. And they're just going to I think they're going to be just facing a lot of adversity throughout the season. Alabama, as you mentioned, Kalen DeBoer, initially when he's hired, Caleb Downs goes to Ohio State, the great freshman safety, and they lose some other guys. But he was able to stop the bleeding. He was able to get the offensive tackle Proctor back from Iowa, a few things like that. So this roster, I think Alabama, I've got them number 6 in my power ratings. I don't think they're going to drop off the face of the earth. And I think at worst here, we're going to get a push. So I think Alabama, though, probably a 10-win team. I've got them making the playoffs. So I like Alabama at -118 to post more regular season wins than Michigan.